Hey guys, Peter here to tell you about the latest from Ghost Impera, out right now on Loma Vista. The album has 12 tracks, 46 minutes in length, and this is the band's fifth full-length studio album. They are a Swedish rock band. And for this record they put together a design that I really like. Classic approach, side A, side B, both sides starting with an intro that doesn't just introduce you to the side that you're on, but it gives you a sense of continuity to the track that comes after and everything else that follows. Now, just because you have two sides doesn't mean they have to be different from one another. And on this record, I actually find them to be very balanced. The experiences, the soundscape, a lot of the movement that you're going to see on side A, you're going to see that same experience, the same movement on side B. So it allows the record to have a sense of continuity, but still be very dynamic, very volatile, and definitely allowing you to have a little bit of a pause break in the middle that resets you for what's coming next. A design that we've seen previously from the band, but a design that works really well for them and definitely works well for an album that has this sort of soundscape. A soundscape that some will say is very popish. Now I feel like that's always been there. Maybe on this record they let the veil down and it's a little bit easier to determine. It's a little bit easier to notice it. But it's something that has been growing. It's something that's been evolving. This record is definitely a continuity of everything they've done before. So if you've been listening to this band and you've been seeing the progression of every single record, the things that change, the things that have grown, the things that have moved from album to album, this record shouldn't really be a surprise to anybody. It's an album that brings the two different sides of the band. On one side you have the ABBA influences with a more melodic approach, the more pop, the disco rock, the feel-good vibe, the songs that make you want to dance. And on the other side, you have the Scorpions' influence, the arena rock, the songs that are created for a large audience, for a big stage, that have this huge volume to them. They feel larger than life. They are an experience within an experience. All of that has always been Ghost, but they've been morphing, they've been growing, they've been molding that experience with their own experience that they've acquired with every single record. This album just brings everything to the table. This is where Ghost currently is. It doesn't mean it's going to be where Ghost is going to be, but this is where they are, and they've kind of been hinting that this is where they were heading with the previous albums. Now, not everything is great about the sound on this record. There's actually one element of the sound that I wasn't a huge fan of, and that is the bass. Very inconsistent from beginning to end. And some songs sounds phenomenal, blending in with everything else, giving some grit, giving some volume, grounding the record, being groovy, having all the right attributes in order to make a positive impact on the tracks. And then there's some songs where the bass sounds out of tune, doesn't belong there in the forefront, hurting the melody of the tracks, just completely out of place. So the inconsistency of the bass and the sound of the bass throughout this record, while might not have hurt the overall album, it definitely hurts the songs in which it doesn't really find its own home. Another element that I didn't like on this record that has nothing to do with the sound, it's the lyrical content. It wasn't what I was expecting it. It felt mundane. It felt too simple, too easy, too straightforward. Not enough for me to really digest, not enough for me to dive deep into it, peel the layers, and discover new things that are maybe not there at the surface. The album lyrically felt slightly lazy. Now, the elements that I enjoyed about this record are the vocals and guitars. The guitars on Ghost are always phenomenal. And I'm not one of those guys that wants the guitars to be heavy on certain tracks. No, I just want the guitars to have the playability that they need to have. And on this record, when you look at the arena rock side of the band, they're definitely there. The guitars have power. They may not have heaviness, but they have power, they have force, they have light, they have brightness, and they really push these songs forward. The guitar playing has always been something that's brought me back to Ghost, because I just like the sound, I like the tonality of the guitars, I like the experience that they give, I like the motion that they create from track to track. Now, the vocals are perhaps the most consistent element that really brings this album and allows it to connect it with the past of the band. When I look at everything else on this record, the album is a step forward from where they've been before. When I look at the vocals, it's the only real consistent element that has stayed very grounded throughout the entire discography of the band. And this record is no different. So the vocals allow you to connect with the essence of Ghost, even though the sound on this record perhaps is going in a different direction, moving towards a different direction from where they started off, but still seeing that growth with every single record. So it's a very interesting approach, because it feels like the vocals are staying in one place while the sound is moving past it. Overall, this album has great sound, great experience, but I have to say, in my humble opinion, this is their weakest album. Not because I didn't like the poppiness of it, not because I didn't like the light-hearted aspect of the soundscape. No, I just feel like this album is not really memorable. It has some great songs, but it doesn't have those tracks that really stand out, at least not to me. It doesn't have the necessary ingredients to be a memorable record all around. It feels like bubblegum. You chew it, you listen to it, you have fun while you're doing it, but once you put away and something else new comes around, you're gonna easily forget about it. It just doesn't have the right ingredients for me. It didn't have the right movement for me. It didn't have the right style tracks that really makes me want to come back to it time and time again. I feel like one time through it, I got exactly what the point was all about. There's really nothing new for me to discover the second time around. Having said that, I do have some favorite songs, and I want to start off with Spillways. Now, the piano opening on this track reminded me of I Have a Dream by ABBA. I'm not saying it sounds alike, but it had a little bit of that ABBA feel, and it definitely reminded me of that song. It builds in from that point on, but the piano melody really stays throughout the entire track, sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less. It allows the song to have a nice sense of fluidity and a nice sense of continuity. The chorus on this song are really big, musically and vocally, and that gives the verses a feel of being more direct, more to the point. But allowing the keys to play a fundamental role in how this song comes across really makes this a track that stands out in the crowd. And I don't know about you guys, but when I was listening to this song, I could feel like there were different ABBA tracks influencing the overall construction of this song. If you tried to really pinpoint them, I feel like you could get there. You could see the moments within this track, either be the verses, the chorus, a little bit of a melody here, a little bit of a melody there. But this song is made up almost of different tracks from ABBA and the influences that those tracks have had on the band. Next we have Watcher in the Sky, a pure arena rock style song. It has maybe a little bit of a heavier bite to it as far as the guitars go. The track musically stays very well connected with the past of the band. It's perhaps one of the most throwback songs on this entire record. I love the movement. I love the little bit heaviness that it gives. It has still a lot of melody. It's a song that has also the ability to be danceable. Like, it has a heavy bite, but you can still dance to it. It's just a great guitar sounding track all around, and like I said, it has that arena rock vibe that it's really important for the band, because that's exactly what the band is doing these days, playing in large arenas. Last but not least, Darkness at the Heart of My Love. The moment this song started, I was like, wow, this is the modern version of He Is. It just has all of those same elements. It's a dark ballad. It feels very reminiscent of that song. It has a lot of the same attributes, a lot of the same atmosphere is there. It's a song that has an incredible acoustic guitar all the way throughout, really adding to that vibe, really adding to that mood, offering a little bit more of a sinister vibe, a little bit more of a somber mood. And I like that experience, and I like how the vocals really dictate the drive or the push that this track has. Having the acoustic guitars, allowing the song at times to feel very stripped out, allows the vocals to really push the direction of the track, allows the vocals to be on the pedestal, and that is the one element that you're going to focus on for the entirety of the track. This is it, Ghost with Impera, out right now on Loma Vista. Let me know your thoughts on the band. Use the comment section below. I'll be reading those and getting back to you. Take care, guys.